All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the after show. It's kind of a sad show, in my opinion, because we have a fallen host from Lolcow Live. I know he was a fan favorite of mine.
A member favorite, yeah.
Yeah, honestly. And I had the displeasure with the assist from Kmplxity to let him know that he was no longer with the show.
Yeah, imagine doing your job and finding out you're fired by your boss. Technically, he never was your boss, but like that's just the most bitch shit to do, bro. And then to
especially
turn
on
around,
Twitter, bro.
Yeah, and not even directly either. Freaking Keemstar posting it from the damn Lolcow Live Twitter rather than on his own Twitter, bro.
Yeah, come on, bro.
It's like working at a Wendy's and one of the guys in the drive-thru is like, "Hey, you're fired." By the way,
that'd be so terrible.
I don't know how you could come back from that, bro. But I mean, realistically, I think Tommy will be fine. I don't know if they may try and get him back on the show to talk about it. The way Tommy talked about it on the stream today, I think he's good on that.
Yeah, he said he would totally be down to be back.
Okay, I didn't hear that part. Well, I mean, there you go. So, I mean, I don't know how they'll spin it, but I mean, you know, they may just say, "Hey, we're gonna bring Tommy back on to try it out." I guess it depends on how tomorrow's show goes with the tryouts. But
exactly, they're having tryouts tomorrow. Hey, Tommy, why not come on? Give yourself a tryout.
And the way Keem made it sound like he's willing to take members as hosts, but it's like you literally shit talk the members all the fucking time, bro. There's no way, there's no freaking way that somebody in Lolcow Live Discord is going to tolerate the way you talk and then won't turn around.
We were talking. We were talking before the show, and we're like, there is no way that there's going to be legit people. There's that many people legit trying to get on the show. There's going to be like maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 people who actually want to do it.
It's just all going to be trolls. Yeah, it's just all going to be trolls.
And the problem is Keem, he's not going to realize that, and he's going to be like, "Oh my god, this guy sounds great," and then he's going to almost pick the fucking troll.
I doubt it. No, I think it's the exact same thing with the stupid editor. He already has somebody in mind. He knows who he wants, and he's gonna just pretend and watch people make stupid fools of themselves, and then maybe he's gonna bring on the one and only person who sounds really good and already had them connect. Like, you know, I don't see. There's no way Keem is gonna just pluck somebody out of the Discord, random person, and put him on there and start paying him $2,000 a month.
Yeah, no. But
there is a possibility because he has supported small creators in the past.
But he doesn't. What is he going to do? Take the time out to watch their content? You think Keemstar, I only want 15-second clips, is going to take time to watch out somebody? He already said he hates long-form content. He already said he hates commentary channels. He already said he hates essay channels. He, like... You know, most of the people who are in that Discord are either gamers or commentary channels.
He has the attention span of a lima bean, like legitimately. So it has to be quick, to the point, and done. But honestly, like I'm thinking about throwing my name in the hat because I think he'd be entertaining.
Yeah.
Do I think I'll get it? Fuck no, I don't think I'll get it. But you know, if they say where you from, I'm say definitely I'm from the after show. And Mr. ChillForce had the idea. We were talking about it. Mr. Chill, I'll let you tell him the idea.
Yeah, well, for one thing, before we get to the idea, we're talking about things Keem hates. I'll tell you one thing Keem loves. He loves firing people. Why not hire someone on so that he gets to fire them? Yeah, he loves to do it. He's done it so much.
I mean, it's an easy video title, right?
It's definitely lame as hell.
Yeah, well, you know, he loves to do it. He likes the power trip, right? That's why he's a Lolcow.
There you go.
As far as the idea, as long as each of us goes up there and just gives it a shot and says, yeah, you know, part of my credentials is that I'm on the after show. You know, we regularly do a show already. So, you know, I'm adapted to this space. It's not a problem. And then even as he passes us by, you know, eventually he'll be like, wow, all these people keep saying they're from the after show. What fucking show is that?
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
What the fuck is the after show?
There you go.
Well, yeah, we did already get Boogie and Wing saying that they're not saying no. They just have to find the time. But I
There
mean,
you
you
go.
never know,
We'll see when that time is. you know?
Yeah. Hey, they might be willing, man. You know, if that means they can put like some effort or the bulk of the effort on somebody else, I guarantee they'll be down for it.
All you
That's
gotta
the
do is
thing,
show
right?
up, bro.
And that's the thing. We see, so a little bit of backstory. Before we found out that Mr. Tommy was fired, we had a lovely disaster stream where Boogie, who's decided to just
Oh,
go,
Jesus.
fuck it, we'll do it live.
The birth of Tibble's the clown.
Oh,
Yeah. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that as we go through. We have here saved a couple of clips that I think are pertinent to what Tommy was all. You know what? A lot of the commentary community and a lot of fans already were guessing that it's fake. Like the whole 25% is fake. Obviously, if you don't know, there's no way that you can have 25% stake in something and it not be a company. It would have to be on the NASDAQ. It would have to have shares. It would have to be whether private or publicly tradable. Like in order to own a percentage of something, it must have liquid value. This is a podcast. It does not have liquid value because it is not a company. So that we learned was BS. We definitely know that the NDA was bullshit. There's no way in hell it was just covering freaking financials.
Hell no, bro.
Thirdly, we already knew that Boogie was never going to be fired, but yes, freaking Tommy confirms it as well. And the other thing is that Tommy tells us the reason why he wanted stuff recorded. It wasn't the way they were spinning it. He said, and did a lot better job of narrowing down what he wanted than the NDA did, that he only wanted a hop-in call and talk about the NDA and only record that conversation. He didn't say he wanted to record all their conversations or the DMs. That is his story. Whereas Keemstar was saying is that he wanted to record every little bit. But you know what? Considering Keemstar said that Tommy quit today, that I would see why. Like, you want to turn, how is it that this person saying all the truths and coming out with truths and shit like that is him wanting to quit? That doesn't make sense.
Again, Keem has the attention span of a lima bean, so he heard what he wanted to hear and he ran with it. Now, Tommy, in the beginning, he even said he loved being on the show. He wanted to stay on the show. The extra money was nice, but these were the things that he disagreed with.
Right.
Now, because of that, unfortunately, Keem had to go on the Lolcow Live Twitter and say, Tommy's fired, whatever.
Yeah, it's just a way. It's just a punishment. That's the way I look at it. It's a punishment because he spilled the beans. But let's go ahead and get into some of these.
You didn't listen to me. You're fired.
Pretty much. Let's go ahead and get into some of these clips because boy, oh howdy, they are entertaining.
We get as much out of as can, and it's been thank you, Alpha Ruch. It's been amazing. It's been fun. A lot of crazy stuff has happened. I don't regret doing it whatsoever. I don't know if I do it again. I think I've had enough. I have not quit. I have no plans to quit, and that's how it starts. So I knew this thing would wear out. Then I started seeing, D-Max getting moved, Connor getting fired, and then I was tipped off. I was supposed to be fired a couple back in December. I was warned about it.
That is crazy. He was supposed to be fired back in December. And this goes along with the other thing that he's been saying, that the NDA, because Keemstar knew he was never going to sign the NDA, it was just a way of to get rid of him. It was just a way for Keemstar to turn around and say, this guy is way too difficult to work with.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, though, Tommy has been very open about it, about what he wanted or whatever, if there was going to be an NDA. But Tommy's also said he would never sign one because of the implications of it. Now, especially with it being open-ended and Keem also admitting he didn't even read it, that would raise questions to me. Why am I going to sign an NDA for the company you own that you didn't even read?
Exactly. And we did cover that.
That is rough, bro.
Yeah, and we covered that in our kayfabe, is it kayfabe?
Yep.
And that's the other thing is like, dude, you're still... You have locked yourself in now to where you are, because Keemstar was saying, I look like the bad guy. Bro, that's because you're being the bad guy. And now that you have both Wings and Boogie signing that NDA, anything you do to them now is only going to look like you're trying to silence them. There is nothing
100%,
else you
dude.
can do. Like, if you garnish their wage or anything or take any sort of action against them, like, you really think that freaking Wings is gonna, with the way he reacts to his trolls, he's not gonna be like, in a week or two, turn around and be like, man, I got ulcers in my stomach with how stressed I am about making sure that this is the perfect, best podcast in the world. That man is going to get super stressed at the fact that he has an NDA hanging over his head.
Well, here's the thing. I'll go ahead.
It's clear that that he doesn't actually care about the NDA for the cows who signed it. Because for one, we have the disaster stream where Boogie just talking about financials. He's talking about how much money and views happen in past, streams. And then further in the stream before that, you have both of the cows doing a lot of discussions about, NDA stuff. And Keem just hand waves it and says, don't worry about it.
Well, here's the thing. This is how I see it. The NDA is going to be convenient, so they can, if someone asks them a question that they don't want to answer, they can say, oh, no, I signed the NDA, so I can't talk about it. And the other thing is, once the show ends, because, everything has a shelf life. I don't care what you say. This show's not going to go on forever. Keem can sue them if they talk about anything after the show is over, because it's open-ended.
It won't.
So, I know, but I'm just saying technically.
Yeah.
So it's a bad look, in my opinion.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying the way this is all transpiring, the way Tommy's talked about it, and how it was all handled, this is all a bad fucking look, because Keem is showing favoritism towards Wings and Boogie by not really caring. Because when Keem was in the Discord, I straight up, he was saying shit. I was like, so what about all them talking finances on the Saturday stream? Or, what about, you not even reading the NDA? You know what I mean? It's there for, I'm not going to say favoritism, but it's there basically as a threat. And that's all Keem wants, is the threat. Go ahead.
Well, I disagree. I think it's only there exclusively to get rid of Tommy. And now that Tommy's gone, no NDA. They might use it as
I don't know about exclusively
whatever
to get rid of Tommy. I think it's going to be a very convenient thing that he wants an NDA, and then now, ironically enough, it also somehow gets rid of Tommy.
I think it's a crutch. It's a crutch.
Well, he's going to have to turn around and be the same. He's restricted by the same NDA rules. So if anyone, he literally can't argue for himself. If somebody comes on his show and starts throwing out numbers and saying, oh, you're not paying them enough, they're only getting paid this much, Keemstar can't defend himself. He can't then break NDA to turn around and tell them that they're lying, that they're not telling the truth. Because if he says, no, you're lying, it's like, okay, well, provide proof. And he's like, well, I signed an NDA. And it's like, so you're lying. You're not able to provide any proof against what I'm saying.
The issue with that is Keemstar owns the LLC that the NDA is signed for. So the LLC he owns is not going to sue him for breaking it. That's never going to happen.
It's an enforceable. Here's the thing, is that it's enforceable by law just in general.
No, it's not.
No,
NDAs are not a matter of law. It's a contract. Well, so the same way that you could write up anything and have someone sign it, NDA is just a structured format of a type of agreement that's common. So there's not settled NDA law or anything like that. It's just a type of contract.
Do we know that
civil suit, though?
Probably, yeah. But do we know
that's
that
what it would be.
Keemstar is the actual owner of Keemstar LLC and not his management?
I mean, that's most likely.
Didn't Tommy see on the stream?
He said the show was his.
No, I'm talking about Keemstar LLC.
Well, he said that there is an LLC, but he was never an employee of Keemstar LLC.
What's funny about that is Wings just said he's 1099K employee, and he says he does own 25%.
He is a 1099 employee because he's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Not because of the I get what you're saying. But that's also what Tommy says, is that Keem was able to convince Boogie and Wings that they have 25%. Now, if they do have 25%, cool. Guess what? You can't defend yourself from people saying that you don't have 25%.
Yep.
You know?
Can't prove it either way.
You can't prove it either way. Oh my gosh. Let's get to this next clip right here.
And what happens is Keem kind of zeroes in on somebody, makes them the enemy. They get rid of him. I'll read all these at the end, by the way. Makes him the enemy, and then just picks 1-1-1. I was in focus, then it went back to Connor, then it went to D-Max, and it's just the way it goes. It's complete and total chaos. Again, I'm not a victim. I knew that's the way it was going to be. I know, look, I was in the Army. I know what leadership looks like. He doesn't have it. Keem is a fantastic performer, and he's an idea guy. But as far as any kind of management's concerned, he's completely incompetent in that area.
What do you guys think?
I got to agree.
Yeah.
Keemstar he does not have leadership qualities. I was in the Army too. Plex, you were in the Marines. You know what it is. Zeph keeps going in and out like an asshole. But now you're good. But Keem does not have traits where if he tells me like, hey, this is what we're doing, I would second guess him like a motherfucker. Now, when it comes to creating content, yes, okay. But when it comes to just normal everyday, like if I'm in a boardroom, he's talking about business strategies and all this other shit, I don't know if I could follow him.
Well, Keem is very much, you need to know what I think. You need to understand my brain. He'll be like, this is cool, that is cool, I want this. And then and just like Tommy said, then leaves. And then when it's not exactly perfect the way he wants with as little information as he gives, then he gets upset. And it's totally true. As somebody who was on the docket team, it's fucking true, bro. And then the other people who are on the docket team now, they're realizing it too, even though they wanted it so badly.
That's why we need Brady in here to talk about it. Brady, come on the show, bro.
It's hilarious. That's all. And it's true though. Keem is very good at startups, but the long haul seems to be very difficult for him,
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Tom even said he's never had a successful podcast outside of one. There was one, I think Mom's Basement or some shit.
Yeah.
Outside that, he's never had a successful podcast.
Well, he's never had a podcast go the distance. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's got
little
trouble.
podcasts that do really good in bursts and do really well in the short term, like Kmplxity is saying, but in the long term, I mean, Baited ended up failing. Mom's Basement ended up failing. Lolcow Live is another attempt. The podcast aspect of that is already out the window. They've just stopped doing the podcast aspect of it. So either he's changing design philosophies here, or he's got to come up with something. I mean, I don't know.
This is going to become a circus sideshow. That's literally what this is going to become, and that's why we have Tibbles the Clown.
Tibbles the Clown, my favorite.
I think he's got a really hard time. He's got a good idea of a good way of coming up with a vision, but then he has a very bad way of executing on it and communicating it to others. Because you have the Cows, when they were trying to do their own show, Wings had a very particular idea that's based on how past shows went. And then Boogie has a particular idea that's based on how the more recent shows have gone. Team shows up and says, you guys are both wrong. But then he doesn't really communicate more. He just says, I have 10,000 ideas.
Well, the thing is,
communicate.
Yeah. And then on top of it too, and Tommy goes over it, but Keem's whole thing is Tommy didn't pull numbers. Well, Tommy wasn't there when we all found out that Boogie faked cancer. That isn't it. And then even, that's the other problem with Boogie right now is that he's just bootlicking the hell out of Keemstar and just reiterating all of his own arguments that he saw Keemstar posting in the DMs, right? That's all he's doing at this point. And Keemstar's like, oh, well, we pulled so many numbers, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but where are those numbers now post Boogie cancer? You went from 22,000 down to 4,000.
This is how I equate it. Businesses, because I used to work for Best Buy and I don't anymore. I never signed an NDA, so I can talk about it. Best Buy, when they did their bonus structure, they looked at basically COVID numbers. And because it was considered an essential business during COVID, they had record-breaking profits for 2 years. And then after that, when shit started opening back up, those profits dwindled down. And they kept comparing everything to the COVID years, saying, these are our goals. But then they finally realized that that's not sustainable.
Right.
So this is kind of the same situation. Keem is comparing post-faking cancer numbers to where they're at now. And that's just not sustainable. I mean, Nicholas DiOrio even said it in the Saturday show or whenever he was on there. I forgot. You can't do that because it's not a viable business model.
Well, it's not one you can repeat. That's the thing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
even the comparison.
Yeah,
the comparison at base is a completely unfair and ridiculous comparison because we're talking about the huge groundswell of people that all came with Boogie faking cancer and trying to say anything that happened before that mattered or meant anything, and it didn't.
Well, here's the thing.
Real
quick, there would be no Boogie faked cancer numbers if there was no Tommy live streams. Had Tommy not been there, who knows whether or not they would ever get to the whole Boogie faked cancer thing, because Tommy was the first one to call Boogie out on the Lolcow Live about how much he bitches about his health and how much he doesn't believe that he actually has cancer. Like Boogie or Wings and freaking Keemstar, they didn't press him on his health or anything like that. I mean, Keemstar did have that one stream where he was like trying to help him get through it and all that. That's one thing, but it's a whole other thing to have somebody like Tommy be like, dude, just pull the trigger. Like, I don't believe you. Like, you are such a whiny, lying, conniving little, hypocrite. Like, da 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 da. So there would have been no 22,000 had Tommy not been there to keep the show afloat and keep the show moving forward.
Well, no,
right.
I got to say this though. There would have been no 22,000 if they didn't have other commentators talking about this. Because literally right after the show, like I said this in the other show, the other time we talked about this, so many people were going live right after Lolcow ended, talking to their audience, and then people were putting out videos about it. And then you noticed as soon as that died down, no one's talking about it anymore. Now all you're getting is these random ass downfall of Boogie videos because they're trying to reap the little crumbs that are left.
Well, they moved on to all the new drama. Freaking Chris Tyson.
Yep. Mr. Beast and all that.
Chris Tyson kind of takes prevalence. I mean, we're talking about one of the best friends of one of the most major creators on the platform. I mean, if not the most,
he's
the biggest player on the platform.
Everyone says he's number one.
So yeah, no, like Boogie came in, he did his spiel. I faked cancer. Whoa, woe is me. I was abused, but I don't want to talk about it. Actually, I do. Let me talk about it for 20 minutes. But really, the next day, it was literally like, Mr. Beast's friend is kind of a pedophile. We don't really know what about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The other thing
I mean, yeah, those live streams performed well, but they were only because that was the drama at the time. If this if the Ava Tyson stuff would have came up first, I don't think people would have cared that much.
No, not at all.
Boogie 2988. They all know he's a Lolcow. They would have woke up. They would have gone, Boogie faked his cancer? That doesn't surprise me.
Roll to Chris Tyson. But last point I'm going to make is the other thing that helped them out a lot is Medicare.
Oh yeah,
Medicare coming on there in his audience. Because if Medicare didn't come on there, they probably wouldn't have had the numbers they even had then.
True.
That dude draws people, bro.
Yep. He makes in a night what they make in a month.
Well,
that's how it goes.
That kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, like right after the Boogie streams, that's whenever he decided that following Wednesday he was going to do his own deep dive into Boogie. So I mean, it kind of went hand in hand, and I don't think they were collabing on it, but had it not been so perfect, it would have been. I think there's a lot of ways that it could have went. I think the stars just aligned for Lolcow Live. I don't think this is going to be
They had a good windfall.
Those numbers are definitely not.
They had a good windfall, but let's get on to the other clips. We just keep talking about it.
Now you're asking yourself, why haven't you been fired yet? This is where the bullshit comes in. The reason I haven't been fired yet is because of all the bullshit you've heard. Let me explain what Lolcow Live is and how I relate to it. First of all, I am not an employee of Kmplxity. Never have been. I receive a check through PayPal, and it's up to me to declare in Germany. There are no shares, despite what you hear. I have nothing in my possession written down saying I have so-and-so shares of this project. None. It's never existed. I simply get a cut, a 25% cut of whatever money comes into the show. That's it. That's what I signed for. And it's good extra money. Like for a part-time job, it's like fantastic. There are no shares. There is no 25% ownership. I own nothing. I have nothing in my name, and nor does any of those other guys have anything in their name that says they own anything. Keem owns the show, lock, stock, and barrel. And that's why I haven't been fired yet, because it blows up the shares narrative, the 25% ownership, and the stuff that we all have to agree before something's done, like somebody's fired. Connor got fired. I was against it. That's it. The Pooled Pensers got canned last night because he found something to fire him with over the, even though we actually absolutely needed him to make thumbnails and stuff. When I was in a meeting with Boogie and Wings, they both wanted to keep him. We both decided we wanted to keep him. So he was just fired yesterday unilaterally. Everything that's been done, every change that is made has been unilateral by Keem. Therefore, he owns the podcast, lock, stock, and barrel. That's it. There's no share. It's a myth. There are no 25% ownership. It's a myth. How can I prove that? Everything that has been done, every change that has been made has been unilateral. I'm not complaining about this. I knew this and sort of rolled my eyes.
So Tommy's shooting in, saying
that's a hot take, bro.
It's BS, and that's pretty much what we were saying, and so was so many other people. If there was 25%, you have to be able to have 25% of something. Like it's not an intellectual property until you have it trademarked and then you actually have it, synced down. In order to have 25%, it has to be a company. It has to be a liquid asset.
Well, the real thing, too, is if there really was 25% each, they would have a say in the direction of the show, firing of editors, hiring of editors, and all that shit. It wouldn't just be like, boom. And all of them call Keem the boss.
Yep.
Tommy said, I just do what I'm told.
Yep.
I know Wing said that he has 25%. I know Boogie said that shit, too. I thought it was all bullshit whenever Keem said, I'm going to rip up the contract and all that, and that they had agreed on a number. I don't see that happening either. I thought that was all BS anyway. And that's where the kayfabe shit comes in, because there is no shares of anything. And I know Wings was saying that he's a 10, like we said before. And since Tommy's in Germany, it's a little different because of taxes or whatever over there. I have no idea about that. I ain't gonna talk about it. But I'm done.
I was gonna say, here's my thing. If there really was 25% ownership, Wings would have way more balls, and Boogie both, because what's going to happen if they are own part of it? That means they have to be voted out of ownership, which means the only way for them to be voted out is for it to be 3-1 or 2-1 right now. So Wings could very easily be like, remember when he quit the first time and was like not wanting to come back? Now, if he actually owned 25%, he would be getting a payout of whatever that is, of whatever that company is making, of whatever that product is making. He wouldn't be getting, he would be getting that severance pay or whatever. And that like windfall right there, knowing he's going to make money if he quits rather than gets fired and doesn't receive anything, he would be way more willing to just be like, nah, fuck you. At least in my opinion.
It is possible to draw up shares for a private company, but it's for sure that he hasn't done it yet. And that it won't be 25% when he does it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can definitely make like a small company out of something, but at the end of the day, it's just not what happened. It's not true. It didn't happen. And then Keem tries to turn around and say like the only reason why he started with this whole 25% thing is because people were talking about money. And it's like, so you threw out a lie to cover up another lie?
Well, look, remember in the Discord when Keem was in there, first thing he said, and I'm going to quote Keem because I have it in front of me, technically what Tommy said about me owning the show is correct, but the only reason this was ever mentioned on the show is because these morons kept leaking the financials of the show, and that's what needed NDA. And then secondly, he said, so when Boogie was fired, I really did buy his, quote, imaginary shares contract and everything, end quote. So that's telling you, Keem is straight up saying that there is no shares. He owns it.
Right. Yeah. And he's saying that he made up a lie to cover up another lie. Because the whole reason, and he's stuck to his guns on this, the whole reason he wanted the NDA is because freaking Boogie lied about not getting paid.
Well, that's his claim.
Right.
And what do you believe out of Boogie's mouth? Let's be honest.
Oh no, that's what Keemstar said. Said,
or Keem. Yeah.
I mean, at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's two people with one mouth.
Pretty much.
Oh, you're not wrong.
And as far as trying to enforce an NDA to prevent employees or contractors or anybody from talking about what they make, that's protected by law. You can always talk about what you make, even after they sign the NDA. They can still say, "Yeah, I got my paycheck today. It was the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 50 cents. Isn't that great?" And they can do that, and he can fire them, but he can't come after them with the NDA. It's pointless.
Yeah, I mean, and even if he does, again, he's just going to look like the villain. There's no getting around it at this point. He is the guy who is going to be seen as backstabbing Tommy, threw him under the bus, planned the disaster stream. Like, it's all going to look like that because you're not willing to come out and give information. You're not wanting to come out and be transparent about things. Now, does anyone have the right to demand that of you? No. It's an internet podcast, But if you really are wanting to be on the side of I'm in the right and you're all just stupid, you're going to have the majority of people look at you and be like, that's not a defense. That's not a defense, or at least not a believable
not at
one.
all.
Not
at all.
Since he doesn't really care about the truth, he could just have Tommy come on tomorrow and say, "You know what? No tryouts. Tommy, you're rehired. You're back.
That is
Pleased
true.
to have you back, buddy. You're amazing."
That's true. All right, let's get to this next clip here.
And the NDA was also a kind of a beginning of the end thing for me too, because first of all, there's no apparatus in the United States, in Germany, that can keep me from talking about my salary, even though I never did. And I actually can pull up a tweet. Keem eventually admitted that I had never said anything to anybody about, and I can show all this stuff.
And that's right there, just like we were saying. He said that there's nothing in the US or in Germany that can stop him from talking about his money or what he's making. And that's the crazy thing about it, though, is he never did it once in the first place. But Keem is sticking to that story that he told Diorio, and Diorio is like, "No, dude, I was wrong. Like, I'm telling you, I was wrong. Why do you keep saying Tommy told me? He didn't tell me. You told me." Like, Keem doesn't want to take that L.
He didn't just tell Keem, "You're wrong, Keem." He then posted the clip that he got the number from. That was Keem saying $10,000.
Yep. And it's just more and more of what Tommy's been saying, man. That it's there's a lot of behind the scenes, and he was just doing as he was told.
That's it.
Well,
yeah.
You know how I've been saying this whole time that Boogie and Keem have a direct line to each other?
Oh yeah.
Part of what came out is that there's a group chat that you just have Wings talking to himself, basically. And you had Keem and Tommy fighting each other. It pretty much confirmed that Keem and Boogie just planned behind the scenes what they're going to do. And Keem was gassing up Boogie to go live and go do whatever he wanted, and was ignoring what Wings was doing in the group chat and in the Discord in favor of drumming up drama to fire Tommy.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know why Tommy would really want to come back to that kind of environment after Tommy outed everything on his show.
Money.
I just,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
No,
Man.
I wouldn't say money. I mean, even on his show, he said he's fine. Like he said he's fine. So if he comes back, I think it'll be under a different pretense than money. Honestly,
he said
he likes it too.
Yeah, he said if he came back, nothing can change. Like, he's not taking a pay cut. He's not gonna be being paid any. He's not going to be paid any less. He's not doing anything extra. He's not getting any punishment, etc., etc. Which is totally fair.
He's not going to go through the trials of Boogie.
Exactly.
There you go.
Also, I'd be releasing the entire NDA, so there's no confusion whatsoever, and all you commentators can do whatever you see fit with it. I don't care. I'm not going over that either. I'm not going point by point. I'm not doing any of those things. You guys can have whatever you like. And when I was called a liar about the NDA being open-ended, the solution to that would be release the NDA. He didn't do it. There's a reason for it, because it's all over the place.
And Tommy confirming he's releasing the entire NDA, and he's not going to go over it, but you can bet your ass we are. Once he puts it out, I'm definitely down to look at it because
it's out.
It's out.
I was going to say we have it. It's out.
We got all right. We definitely got to go over it because it's just going to be one of those things where people are going to press him. And just like with the whole nurses stuff, when it came to Boogie faking cancer, there's probably some, lawyers or junior lawyers or like pre-law or something like that that's going to hop in and want to press Keem on it. It's entirely possible.
I would love it if Legal Eagle got on there.
Exactly.
Let's get Nick Rekieta back.
Maybe not him.
I'm pretty sure he'd have a good grasp of it, but
I think he's he might be having a little bit too much cocaine.
I shared a copy in our chat if you want to go and pull that up.
Yeah, put it in the server.
Yeah. Oh, nice. All right. Well, we will definitely have to take time to go and look at that because I'm sure that's a whole thing all on its own. All right, let's get to this next clip right here.
Boy, bitch. Any confusion about what I make? It's anywhere between, depending on the month, $18 to $2,000 a month. And I could be a little confused because dollars get transferred to euros and then obviously dollars are a little less, right? That's it. That's all it's ever been. Now I have a lot more coming into me now, maybe, but that's the way it works. There is no shares. There is no 25% ownership. Nobody could ever produce a thing. It's like I have 25% ownership of this. I've never signed anything. I've got nothing with my name on it. I'm not an employee. Nothing. If anything, I'm just a contractor without a contract. That's it. I'm paid for being a personality on Lolcow Live.
And that's pretty much what he's always been saying. That's literally what everyone's been saying. Yeah, it's like we're entertainers. That's what we are. There's a reason why like WWE had like for the longest time they switched between calling them wrestlers and entertainers because they were getting hit with all the kayfabe shit, and now of course everyone knows it's kayfabe, right? There's no getting around that. Yeah. But for the longest time, I mean, you hear people like, "I'm not a stripper, I'm an entertainer," and it's like, it's just a fancy word, bro. Like, there's nothing wrong with it being a little fake,
bro. When I used to bounce at a strip club, my boss was like, "They're entertainers. Don't call them anything else." I was like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just to keep up that the
facade.
Yeah, that facade, man. That illusion that it's more pristine than it actually is.
Like everyone knows what you are. Just own the fucking name and be done with it.
Well, there's a legal consequence probably between just being an entertainer versus anything else. Yeah. One thing that I'm not sure if it's still in this clip is Tommy said specifically he's just getting paid via PayPal.
Yep, he went over that.
I thought was odd.
Well, it's because of the Germany and taxes and all that. It's just easier.
Yeah, I can see that being a legitimate reason.
Because when he takes the money out of his PayPal and puts it into his account, he's liable. He said his wife's an accountant, so that shit's like on lock.
Yeah, you know what? He does seem like the most responsible with the money he has. I mean, I'm not saying Keemstar isn't responsible. But it's very easy to be responsible with money when you're a multimillionaire. Okay, but let's look at like freaking out of Boogie, Wings, and Tommy. They're over there like crying about all this, that, and the third, but yet spending hundreds of dollars every day or every night on food and shit. Tommy, on the other hand, is like, this is the first vacation I've had in 8 years. You know, when he was hesitant to do it too, because him and his wife are trying to buy a house right now. So it's like you're getting rid of what seems to be all the people who are smart and sensible enough to not, play into the stupidity. And the cool thing was that Tupacabra, the previous editor, went on Tommy's stream and actually backed Tommy's claim up that Keem was hard to work with. That Keem would ask for stuff that wasn't supposed, that wasn't like what Connor said. Like, he backed him up and said, hey, you're always good, but yeah, you're right. Like, Keem would be like, hey, this is what I want, and never really give you much of a direction.
Yeah, in Keem's defense, Polar did do a really crappy job, considering it was their biggest month ever. and there's no shorts.
I can't. There's no way to defend something like that.
I mean, it was the same thing that happened with Connor. It's no, it's indefensible. He's definitely got to get the boot. That's for sure. But I'm just saying is that we can see that it's just when you're constantly having issues with people and you're having some hiring issues, it would seem too, because how do you keep hiring editors who don't want to edit? Is it that they don't want to do the job, or is it that they don't want to do the job for you? You know, like
there it is.
You never know, you know.
At some point you beat a nail so hard, and then you gotta start. If you're not hitting the nail with enough strength, at some point you have to realize that maybe it's not the nail, maybe it's the hammer.
Yep. And Polar Stencils was fucking talented, bro. That dude was hilarious with his edit.
That's good talent.
Yeah. He put in a lot of work, so he doesn't strike me as the guy who would just bow out for no reason, you know? So
he even said he could use the money.
Yeah, that he did.
Keem said you're not going to make enough money doing just one stream a week, which he's right. He's 100% correct. And that's when Boogie and Wings started to see, they seem, from what I could see, started to panic. And then let's do one now. Let's do this. So all the things we talked about, you know, not just going on and winging it, just got thrown completely out the window. I said, well, look, I can't do this now, but we should get back into a meeting, right? And then do it. Don't just turn it on and go. Let's get back into a meeting and rearrange the schedule. Okay, we're going to do 2 a week now. That's when me and Wings are going back and forth. That's when I saw the Lolcow live tweet. These guys can't even put it together. And I'm like, oh, this is a work. Keem doesn't want me on Lolcow talking about stuff like this. He doesn't want me to say that the whole thing is his project, his alone, his management, and he pays. He is the boss. I think that Wings and Boogie, even though they probably don't know what shares are, they don't know what part ownership is, they actually believe this stuff, but they don't own anything. And they couldn't produce any paperwork to say otherwise. Keem owns this thing lock, stock, and barrel. And that's why I haven't been fired as of yet. Because once he fires me, then everything you heard about shares and money is bullshit. It's just complete and total horseshit. It's done.
Yeah.
If only you knew, Tommy. If only
I know.
You knew.
I feel bad because this was like the very first couple minutes of his, like within the first 40 minutes of his live. And it's just incredibly unfortunate, but it's just everything he says is true, man. And everything he says can be backed up. There's no real way for them to wriggle out of this. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting because even Nick the Oreo pointed it out. You agreed to a live stream on Tuesday. You then learned that, or you agreed to a live stream on Tuesday or on Monday. So Tommy made plans for Saturday, told you he could go live Sunday. You wanted to go live Saturday after finding out he couldn't do it because he had already made plans with his family his family.
And he had people over.
God forbid.
Yeah. And so it's like, it looks like what happened is you guys saw an opportunity to get it to where he can't defend himself and just go in and hope that the audience agrees with you, because they spent two of the three past live streams kind of talking shit about Tommy while he was gone.
Oh, they dogged him out, bro, the entire time.
Yeah, and so now here's the opportunity, and you want to turn around and be like, because like Boogie was like, who needs 3 weeks for 4 hours, blah, 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 blah. Bro, you can't even get a schedule to stream on your own. Your entire life has been a vacation on YouTube, bro. You do not in any way, shape, or form put in any effort to say that you're tired. It's so much BS. And you got to kind of feel bad for him because here he is putting in legitimate effort. He comes back, does at least 2 streams the same week he came back from vacation, and yet Boogie and Wings can't put together a single stream by themselves.
Well, the best part is Tommy even said he didn't talk about nothing Lolcow in any of his 2 streams because he wanted to save it for their stream.
And he didn't. I watched him.
Oh yeah, I did too. He didn't. I mean, I didn't watch the love calls because I'm good, but yeah, like, and I believe him when he said that because he didn't say shit about Lolcow. He didn't bring it up one time since he got back.
Nope.
And I think he's, I don't know if we're going to get to it, but in this stream, he's like, tomorrow would have been a week I've been back. So
yeah, I do disagree with one point, because Wings has been saying it too. They don't have to plan a show. They literally can just go live and it'll be successful.
Well,
Yeah, that's one of the things I was trying to tell Wings. I was like, you don't need, or trying to anyway, you don't need all this preparation. Like, sometimes we like to see you guys fall on your face a little bit. I mean, that probably made the disaster stream one of the funniest ones.
Oh, it was
purely because Boogie couldn't figure it the fuck out, and it was hilarious.
My thing is, I'm not saying like plan it to the T. I'm saying, but just have like a schedule, like as far not like a DSP type schedule, but like, hey, do y'all want to go live tomorrow?
Well, you also don't want an
live tomorrow. And that's it.
Yeah, you also don't want an RTU stream where you're just watching, videos and like talking every couple of seconds or every couple of hours if it's RTU. Like, you don't want something like that. You want loose script as to how it should go, right? Like, even us, for example, we have multiple topics throughout the week or throughout the day that we all gather together and we all agree on what would be the most interesting thing to cover. Yes, what we think would hit the algorithm the best typically is what's going to turn around and win most of the
100%.
time. But
100%.
we all individually within our own media parts of the internet find interesting topics. Zeph is definitely our resident Call of Duty guy. We have Chill, who's more so our Lolcow guy. Then there's me, who's more so in the commentary spectrum, and then we have Ken, who shows up.
That's all I'm here for, bro.
Yes,
that's all I'm here for.
So we all
Ken's our local jarhead.
Yeah,
that's fuck you.
So
no
we
disrespect. No disrespect.
We all, I get you. No, we all come together. We all find topics, and it's like, okay, this is what we're gonna talk about. What are some things that we want to like get into it? And that's like, just like here. This is what we wanted. We wanted to see what Tommy was saying, cut together some clips, and right before we go live, it's like, okay, this is what we're going to talk about, and we'll get on the roundabout back to the disaster stream, because that's pretty much where this happened. Why this happened is because of the disaster stream. Whereas with them, it's like, dude, you guys are literally have contacts all over the commentary space. How can you not hit up freaking June the King and be like, hey, buddy, when's that EDP dropping, bro? When's that video? Can you give me like just a little? No, the EDP documentary.
EDP's Mike Plum. June is review.
Both of them. Yeah. Why can't you hit up both of them and then turn around and be like, hey, if you could give us like a heads up before that happens, we're willing to plug it, kick some cash your way, something like that. But they're not doing it. And I think a lot of it is because Boogie thinks everybody hates him and Wings thinks he's not popular enough to get people to want to help out, to do it. But Tommy will literally be like, hey, Dick Masterson, you want to come on? Like,
Well, here's the thing though, right? If you notice what Tommy streams when he goes live, they're very organized. Mm-hmm. He has his shit ready. He does his commentary. Then he takes phone calls, and then that's it.
Well, he also has his news team there with him.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And when Wings goes live, he's just playing Rainbow Six. And then when Boogie goes live, it's a fucking disaster. So when Tommy wants to go live, he wants some organization. Like I said, not down to the T, but just an idea of where the show's going to go.
Exactly.
Just that way he can prepare for it.
Yeah.
But when you're
a good stream has a skeleton. A stream has a skeleton. You put in the meat, the blood vessels, the brain, you put in everything else. You make a skeleton that you want to make.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When you're Wings and Boogie, though, like people are coming there to Lolcow Live just to make fun of them. Oh, yeah. Just to look at them, right? They're a circus show. That I'm pretty sure they could have a successful stream that is just Wings just sitting there going, I hate my life. I'm not going to make it.
His own
everything's dead.
That is his
I was going to say, people would rather probably tune into his own if they want to see that.
But the thing is that they and we've even had, like, I've even told these guys here, it's like, you're overthinking it. There's sometimes you have to like take your head out of the clouds. You gotta come back down to earth and be like, listen, what happens. Here's an idea I have. I want to give it a go. Let's hit live. Like, let's test it out a little bit. Maybe they get in call with Boogie and Wings get in call and they like roll it a little bit, like, hey, like try and play off of each other. Be like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Maybe they rehearse a little bit. There's nobody's going to be upset if you do that. If you prep for the show, we just don't want you reading freaking scripts off camera or something. We don't want,
exactly.
We don't want this BS like Keemstar tweeting out that, oh, Boogie got swatted. And it's like, it was a wellness check and the police officer looked like he was bored. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not supposed to be on script. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Turn the shit off,
I've
bro.
been sticking to the script exactly.
God damn it.
I write a mean script, okay?
Yeah.
Fucking canked.
50 pages for this. So
for this
it's excessive.
I focus on page 5.
That's where all the trannies are.
Oh, jeez.
Hey.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. Let's get on to the next one.
Some of the other things that came up, somebody wanted to know why I wanted to record the conversation between Keem. Well, that's real simple. When I came back, I said, we're going to discuss the NDA. I want it recorded. You're welcome to record on your end. The reason I wanted that recorded, and I don't want every single meeting recorded like was said on the show. That's not true at all. I didn't record the meeting between Boogie and Wings, so there's no reason to, is because I was going to refuse to sign the NDA, and I was pretty sure he was going to go to the public and say I quit. So, no. Then I could say, no, I didn't quit. I just won't sign the NDA. And that's really, I think, what this comes down to a certain extent. The NDA is meaningless for anything in reality. I think he just wants me kind of like Boogie and Wings and kind of clinging for the money. No. I'm not in that bad a shape, first of all. Second of all, I'm not going to demean myself, though. That's utterly ridiculous. And the NDA is completely unenforceable. But in a public relations perspective, it is. So if I sign it, I'm just in violation of the NDA. Or if you want to stay on, I could find you in violation of the NDA, or you could do this, which was never going to happen.
And that's exactly kind of like what we were going and saying. He just wants it there for fear. He wants to hold it over his head. And that's exactly what it would be, right? Because it is going to be a he kind of said, she kind of said, because there's an NDA, so they can't actually speak. If they split, Keemstar, as the holder of the LLC, can say we're splitting due to irreconcilable differences, and also it's Tommy's fault. But Tommy can't turn around and defend himself, and that's why he wanted to record it. Now, should they have gone? And I think that it would have been way better for them to do it live. I don't care what anyone says. Watching 3 idiots who don't know anything about laws argue about the NDA, it would be great, in my personal opinion. I think that would have been hilarious. But it's exactly what we were saying. And it's exactly let me rephrase that. It's exactly what I was thinking. And Tommy said it. Keem knew he was never going to sign an NDA. He just used it as a way to push him out. That's just, it's the way it looks, man. The writing's on the wall. And if he truly believed that it was only about money, why the hell was there not talks about NDA in the beginning? Did you not think it was going to be successful? Did you not think it was going to make the amount of money that would require an NDA? And what is that limit of, what is that number? Because if 10,000 a month for you is a lie, Keemstar, what's the show really making?
Well, the thing is, though, he knew Tommy wouldn't sign it in the beginning, so Tommy wouldn't have even been on day one show. And then who would we have? I mean, I don't know who else would have been on here, because I have the theory if DSP was on the show, it would have failed already, and we wouldn't even be having this right now.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, Tommy wouldn't have been on the show from day one if he had to sign an NDA. And the other thing I'll say is I never, ever think Tommy will say the words, I can't talk about it, I signed an NDA. That'll never come out of Tommy's mouth.
He's a very stand-up guy.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. As far as Tommy coming back, I just don't know, man. It's just a lot involved with it. And this entire stream would almost be null and void if he did come back, unless Keemstar said, I'm not going to make him sign the NDA. If Keemstar says that publicly, okay. But if Keemstar does not say that publicly and Tommy comes back, it's all assumptions at that point, and it's still a bad look for Keemstar, in my opinion.
I think it's also a bad look for Tommy because it's kind of like, if nothing changed, what are you going back to? But he said that, you know, he would.
Things that he's been standing on.
Right. But he said that he would. It just, you know, they would have to revisit the NDA, and maybe they will, because at this point, any new members that come on for at least probably the next week and a half or 2 weeks are going to be talking about this and be asking about Tommy this, Tommy that. And Wings and Boogie are way more willing and ready to go ahead and bring on members than Keemstar is.
Oh, 100%.
So
I don't think they're going to be able to handle any Lolcows if it's just Keemstar, Wings, and Boogie. If it's just cows on the show and there's no farmers, there's no sensible, normal people, how do you then have Cyrax or King Cobra or anybody else come on and be able to handle that in a way that's entertaining? Because it's just a bunch of crazy people at that point.
Well, I also think that because Tommy would be good, because like Tommy was supposed to go in right on freaking Cyrax. Then that's even what Tommy was said. Like, this was the plan. Like, I was gonna go in, freaking Wings was gonna be the sympathizer, Boogie was gonna be dumb, and that's Tommy planning it. Whereas if they come on, I guarantee you, like King Cobra comes on, freaking Keem's gonna be like, "Why are you entertaining? Like, why do people find you entertaining?" And then you're gonna have Wings and Boogie be like no, like trying to like relate to him and talk to him and all that. And you know, it's probably one of the reasons why Keem wasn't there for the freaking Cyrax episode. You know?
Oh no. Yeah, that would have been it would have been funny as shit, but it would have been a damn disaster, and Cyrax would have left a long time ago, or Keem would have kicked him. If Cyrax called Keem the N-word, he would have kicked him immediately, and that would have been the end of the show.
Meanwhile, one of Tommy's best moments on the show.
Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic.
It was so amazing.
I also liked the one of the best moments in my personal opinion is Tommy like going in on Wings and being like, "You think I can't be all energetic? Nobody gives a damn about that. I'm not gonna pretend to be energetic." And then he stands up and throws his chair. He's like, "Woo, yeah!" Like doing the Charlie thing. That was fantastic.
My favorite one was when Wings was going to quit, and Tommy called him like a fat fuck and said he could use the money, and Wings was like, "Yell at me one more time, yell at me one more time." And Tommy just kept going in on him and shit.
What are you gonna do? Fucking leave!
Mm-hmm. And then of course, the Desi drama, Boogie and versus Tommy, that was fucking epic.
That was great. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it was so good. Tommy is definitely part of some of the best moments, and that was the thing that Keem like totally was being disingenuous about, because he says like, "Oh, I can think about a million Wings moments." Wings definitely has his moments. Boogie does not. Boogie is people make moments out of Boogie. Boogie is never the one giving out the one-liners. Boogie is not the funny guy. He's not the punching, or he's not the punch. The joke. Okay. He's not the joke. He's not the punchline, or he's not the joke. He's the punchline. Like, he is what people are making fun of. You know, Tommy's smart enough to be able to capitalize on that. Wings is smart enough to just wait back and think sensibly about shit. Keem is smart enough to see that it's going to happen. But Boogie is not the guy. He's not the person that you put in front of a camera and he's entertaining to people. Like, he has a following, but does he really?
I thought it was really funny whenever Tommy said that, you know, part of the reason why he went on first because Keem didn't want to be called a Lolcow. And Tommy was able to handle it. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a Lolcow, whatever." You know, because he's cool. He handled it like a cool, normal adult. So it faded.
Anyway.
And it's just funny to hear that Keem was so afraid of being called a Lolcow. And then sure enough, the longer he's on there, the more and more people realize that he is one.
Yep.
He definitely is one.
Oh, he 100% is one. Dude, he just let's not forget him deleting posts about him being a Lolcow on the Reddit. Like, he deleted the most upvoted post that called him out and called him a Lolcow, and he deleted it. Like, dude, you know, as I guess his ego's about as tall as he is, because damn, is it short, bro? Like, come on, man. It's just like, bro, you can't be throwing punches if you're not going to be able to take them. And that's what he told freaking Chud Logic when he was spazzing out on his podcast. And he's like, "Oh, don't swing the bat if you're afraid for it to come back at you." It's like, dude, what is this, middle school, bro? Come on, man.
Yeah. That's great.
He needs to take a page from his own book, because let me tell you, he definitely swings, and he definitely doesn't like when he's getting swung back at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He hates it. All right.
And at the time, I thought that Boogie wasn't working with Keem to do this stunt, because he was always, like I said, our last conversation was really cordial. Everybody agreed on the note. Wings was a little nervous when Keem said, you need to stream more than one. And I don't know what I'm between that. But as soon as I said, look, I can't do anything Sunday, that's when I'm streaming in an hour, or I'm streaming in 2 hours, or whatever it said at the time. And then I thought that was legitimate, that Boogie was panicking and all I had to do was talk to him. So I deleted the stream. And then I lost my perms for Lolcow. So now I can no longer stream. And I don't think the point was ever to get me on again. They knew I couldn't do it. I couldn't start, carrying on and screaming and yelling a situation. I made my plans on Thursday. It just wasn't a possibility. I'm not going to sit there and yell the place up and wake at everybody when I said that was off this weekend and that we start Tuesday.
And that's, it just, it's like the late great George Carlin has always, said, you don't need a formal conspiracy when interests align. And it's very obvious that 2 out of 4 people on that podcast wanted fucking Tommy gone. And let me be more specific about that. It was one person who wanted him gone, one person who was willing to just jump and say, yes, Daddy Keemstar, whatever you want. And then there was Wings, who was left out of it because he would have blabbed about it. We have to be completely honest. He absolutely would have blabbed about it.
Would have.
Yeah, so it's just some BS, and it makes Keemstar look so petty because it makes it look like you don't agree with me and I can't control you, so you're fired.
It's lies. It's lies all around. Because even when we saw Boogie talking in the Discord about how, why is Tommy booting up on his stream? Why is he going to go do this stream? He should save it for Lolcow Live.
Yeah.
Now he is probably going to get fired. I asked him pointedly, didn't you take away his perms? Like, can he go live on Lolcow Live? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be bitch made and come and ask you or Wing? By the way, I don't think Wings could go live either. He doesn't have permission.
He doesn't.
So is he going to come? Yeah, is he going to come begging you or Keem for permission? Like, please let me go live.
Remember, Wings didn't have access to the analytics either.
Yeah, so he doesn't have permissions on it. He doesn't. So like as let's just put it like this. Of the 3 creators here, myself, Ken, and Zeph, all 3 of us have access to the after show YouTube. All 3 of us have access to the after show TikTok, the Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. We can all see anything that's on there. So for one of us to not be able to, it means we do not have the login for it, which means 2 of the 3 people were able to see it. Keem, Tommy, and Boogie. Wings is being the odd man out because Wings is the loose lips. Then you get Tommy kicked out because he was not wanting to go live without talking. So that leaves who? Keemstar and Boogie. The same 2 people who seem to be on the same page. Go figure. The guy who faked cancer and the guy who gave him a job.
Here's the other thing. This is making Boogie look extra bitch right now.
Yeah,
because he's bowing to Daddy Keemstar, right? He's doing anything Daddy Keemstar wants, and Keemstar knows this because I'm pretty sure Keemstar has said, I could have fired you, I didn't. We brought you back, blah blah. You need to do this for me, type shit. That's all speculation. I don't know that, but it just. Keem can be a slimy dude. We've seen it in the past, and I'm pretty sure he's being slimy as fuck right now here because Keem wants to get to the point. He doesn't have to do shit in front of the camera. He can do all the behind the scenes stuff. What that entails, none of us know. But he wants to be able to sit back, do that little shit, and still get equal pay as the other ones. That's what he wants. So Boogie is going to be his little lapdog and be like the little like bitch messenger boy for, whatever Daddy Keem wants. You need to make sure that, it happens.
That's why I'm not willing to give him any credit whenever everyone else seems to say, he found out when everyone else did that Boogie's faking cancer when he had Destiny on. Everyone wants to believe, for some bizarre reason, Keem's version of events, and I just don't whatsoever. believe that at all. I think
I have
he
a
knows.
wild conspiracy. I have a wild conspiracy, and maybe this isn't true. Maybe this is 100% true. I have this idea that perhaps this was all planned all along. I mean, from the very beginning. I mean, Boogie came to Keemstar and said, "Hey, listen, I may have lied to my audience and told them I have cancer, and I don't know how to get out of it. Can you help me?" And I think there's a very strong possibility that Keemstar was like, "Sure." I mean, Boogie is always the one. Like, he is. I mean, there's times where he'll ream into Keemstar, right? But there's 9 times out of 10, he's always like, "Oh," especially when Wings was like worried about his troll. He's like, "Well, Keem has connections. Keem has connection. You know, Keem, he'll protect us. He'll protect us. He'll protect us." Almost sounding like he's already had that conversation with Keem. Like, "Hey, if something were to happen and I need a little help, you got me. You got. Can you scratch? Can you scratch my itch? You know."
The other thing too is Boogie's always the one that says Keem can call somebody at YouTube and make something happen. Boogie's always the one to say that.
Yeah, he's been licking his boots since day
so
one.
I think this could have been something planned maybe from the very beginning.
It's in
the beginning of the cancer saga.
No,
he's saying the beginning of
the show.
He's saying beginning of the show entirely.
Well, it is feasible that after their drought in the beginning of July, all of a sudden they do this.
That is true.
Because they were getting shit on. Everyone said the fucking little bullshit they did for the 4th of July content was trash. The Discord was fucking reaming them out. Fucking Reddit was reaming them out. I threw some Reddit posts up there talking shit. Because, I mean, you know, and why are people paying for this when you're not doing anything? And then there was the he said, she said on, you know, are we going to do content? Are we not going to do content? Then they put out that bullshit video. Then all of a sudden, Destiny comes on.
Right.
To confront Boogie about cancer.
Also got to, I mean, there's also the fact that Boogie, when this whole cancer stuff was happening, what's one of the first things he said? "I always knew this day was coming. I always knew this day was coming. I always knew this day was coming. I prepared for this. We prepared for this. We discussed this last night. We discussed it." That's the weirdest thing. They discussed it last night.
Well, I don't remember if
that's.
I don't remember if he said that specifically, but he definitely did say that he had discussed it. Okay. Well,
he discussed it with Desi, like almost like he knew that the internet was going to hate him for like a couple weeks.
But that was also the second streaming, wasn't it? Not the first one.
Well, also remember when I think it was the second stream when Destiny was on. Boogie went on Destiny's stream and said, "Well, I thought that was a good show." And like immediately, like at a snap of a finger, changed course and how he was feeling. And all of a sudden, go ahead.
Yeah,
so I think I don't know if there's any truth to that, and maybe one day we'll find out that Lolcow Live was a shell, was a shell for Boogie's lie to have a fall on. But it's just a conspiracy theory I have, because it seems some things just don't really line up. And it's really weird that Boogie is so accepting of Keemstar to just be the asshole that he is all the time. When Wings is like, I understand Wings is a little bit more gentler, but Wings has a very good point. He's like, the people that you're employing just don't like the way you're talking to them. It's not about like the fact that they can't do the job. It's just that you literally are an asshole to them. And Boogie, of all people, who's one of the most sensitive people on the planet, should be like, "Yeah, Keem, like, kind of got to take it off a little bit." Like Polar Stencils, he's a great guy and he's done a great job, and maybe he fucked up a little bit, but instead he's just railing into these people, and he's just going along with whatever Keem says, all because Keem told him that, "Hey, if you stick with me, I got your back no matter what."
Well, it's also because they weren't there. Like, he's non-confrontational if somebody's there to like defend themselves, because I guarantee you he wouldn't have been sticking hard that much if Tommy was there. He wouldn't have been reiterating those points if Tommy was there.
Yeah. He also was only willing to do all that because Keem said, "I'm going to fire Tommy. Here's what I want you to do." And he gave Boogie the script of go collect grievances from the Discord, and then go live and air out your grievances, complain about Tommy, complain about Wings, and that'll be your stream. And that's the script. That's the same script that we've been accusing them of. It doesn't have to be a fully detailed script like our 50-page thing, but it definitely was scripted and planned by Keem to Boogie.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be incredibly impossible for him to beat those allegations. But we got 2 more clips here, so let's go ahead and
what I saw last night, the little that I watched, it was just a complete work. When the polls kind of went my way, you started seeing stuff like this. And this is my favorite.
Like all these commentary nerds are like saying, oh, Bait It 2.0, Bait It 2.0. And then after the end of Bait It, Tommy literally went on his stream and would just lie over and over and over again about me. At one point, he was telling everyone that I had kilos of coke in my house around my daughter and everything else, like trying to get my kid taken away. Like it was a whole fucking fiasco. That guy just makes up shit all the time.
Yeah, that would be pretty easy to prove if I did that, because I haven't deleted any streams in the last 8 years. But Wings brings up a good question.
Let me ask you a question. Like, why did you, because you handpicked Tommy to be the third host, why did you go back to him if he had all these issues?
It's Nick's fault. It's not my management's fault. It's not that I wasn't had my eye on the ball. It's not that I'm not all over the place. I'm more interested in moving the chessboard pieces on the chessboard. It's Nick's fault, who doesn't own the podcast and has never made a dime from the podcast. That he brought this guy that, like, I don't know, even if Nick recommended, wouldn't you say that guy accused me of having kilos of cocaine and tried to get my daughter taken away? Which never happened, of course. It's ridiculous.
That's a good point. Why would you hire somebody who accused you of having kilos of cocaine and tried to get your daughter taken away? Who hires that guy? I don't. Like,
I never would. Hell no, bro.
And not on top of that, it's like, Keemstar, you literally did hire a guy who did that. Salvo Pancakes, remember him? The guy that doxed you and you had to get security because he got onto your freaking... he went and found where he lived and tried to break into your house. Remember that guy?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. You think Keem would be like, Keem literally fired the what was his name? The rainbow dude, whatever his name is. That was like the third or fourth editor. He hired him and then found out that he was a friend of Salvo Pancakes, and that guy leaked the freaking Lunar Parks. There you go. And then he leaked the Sunday episode. Keem, you found out that the dude who doxed you and your daughter was friends with the guy you hired and immediately fired him. There's no way you are keeping Tommy on for months, writing him a check after he claimed you had kilos, not one, not a little crack pipe, kilos of cocaine, and tried to get your daughter taken away. Bro, you're out your fucking mind. There's no way. You're lying.
It's not, that's the weird thing, right? I've never understood why they picked Tommy, because like when you talk about the fact that they've been on Baited and Baited ended pretty much similarly, why would he hire him again, knowing that Tommy is the way he is? Not saying that he shouldn't have, or that he wasn't justified in trying again, but if you don't like the guy, and if you've never liked the guy, and he's always had a better, always had this attitude about NDAs and all this and that, like he's not changed. It's like asking for somebody to change who you know is not going to change. And Tommy is not somebody that's going to change. He's very much a man of his ways.
I'll tell you what it is he knows he's about to start doing Drama Alert, and he hit the biggest month that the show's ever going to do. So now he's going to go off on a high note. That's why Keem finally said, I'm off the show, because he wanted to end on that high note.
Yep.
And he got rid of the editor for the same reason. He basically wants to have his portion of the check be bigger. He got rid of Tommy for the same reason. He just wants to increase the amount of money he's going to get on the show that he views as on life support from this point on.
Well, the thing is, too, though, with fucking Drama Alert coming back, that's his little next egg coming back in, because he's going to make money on that fucking show. We all know that. Yeah. But this is also his way of saying he rode that gravy train through the Boogie saga, made all that money. Now, when the show fails, or if it fails, whatever you want to say, he can always say, "Well, I had other things going on. They should have not needed me." It gives him the chance to talk shit about them, saying,
it paints him in the
they
best
should have been
light.
able to. Exactly. And then he's going to do a drama alert about it. And then there you go. And then that'll be the end of Lolcow after the drama alert.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that part.
Straight up.
Alert starts reporting on the fact that Lolcow Live is failing, and he gets to essentially walk away and unscathed, kind of.
Yep. Because, I mean, how many solo streams has he done talking shit about them?
Yeah.
He's done, I think, quite a few. So, I mean, he already has a record of doing it, saying that they lie, they're hard to work with, they don't want to do shit, blah, blah, blah. He has to do all this shit in the background. He was never supposed to be on camera. That's just the narrative he's building himself. And then once, he got that gravy train, he's going to sit back, collect whatever remnants are left, because he ain't really going to be doing shit once drama alert hits.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that happens, he's going to report on it. And then that's going to be the end of Lolcow.
Sounds about right. Well, let's go ahead and get to our very final clip here.
But I knew one day that target was going to be on me eventually. And the problem he ran into was, you guys like me. He can fire me right now. Right now. He just doesn't want you to turn on the show. And in fairness, Boogie and Wings want to keep the thing going because $2,000 a month is pretty good extra for the amount of work that we do. It's fucking excellent. It's a good time and it's fun and it's funny. And they want to keep that together. They probably want to get rid of me and then hope that Keem does all the streams after that. Which, by the way, he can do right now. I couldn't stream now if I wanted to. He could do it right now. That's it. That's all there is to it. This is Keem continuing his lack of success of being able to keep a podcast together. YouTube's a lot different than being on, like, YouTube is between you and me. Team stuff is a whole different ball of wax. And as good a creator as he is, as fantastic as he's been, that's the part where he can't manage. And if a situation, the only thing would ever work is if somebody was like on his financial level.
Yeah. And that's pretty much, that's pretty much the same thing that I had said about freaking Boogie, or that Wings has said about Boogie, is that if they don't see you as equals, they don't respect you. And Keemstar doesn't see anybody as an equal unless they have money or are at his level of success that he perceives that he has. He is very successful. Don't let me say he's not. But in this day and age, he ain't shit compared to like freaking XQC, Asmongold, freaking, all these way bigger people. Charlie, who can literally don't need a script, wake up, don't even shower, throw on the hit live. They can go live and get millions of views. Okay. They don't need anything else but them.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, Boogie and Wings have said, or Boogie said it too, he's the boss because he has the most money and he knows he's the most successful person. So they're feeding that ego publicly in the Discord, on YouTube channels. And, Keem feeds on that shit. It's very evident he feeds on that shit. And Tommy would never give him the same respect, quote unquote respect.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the bitch too.
I mean, it's evident he has a huge ego. We've been in the Discord before, and after the show, he just hops in the voice chat just to go like, "I'm amazing. I put on the best show. I'm a king," and then he just dips. He just speaks to like a group of people just to say he's amazing and leaves.
Yep, pretty much.
Like it's bizarre behavior. It's Lolcow behavior.
It is.
But it's like a different kind of Lolcow.
But he's not Lolcow.
He's financially well off.
Well, it's a lot more like midlife crisis behavior. Like, I need to know that I'm important. And it's like, dude, like you're he wants to talk his shit and say that Tommy isn't like big. But here's the thing. You don't need to be huge. Like, Tommy has 51,000 subscribers, but guess what? SFTP has outlived all of Keemstar's projects except for Drama Alert. Yep. That's the only one, but he doesn't even manage it anymore. Somebody else does. Not saying that obviously he couldn't take it over, but SFTP has outlived every single drama or every single Keemstar project. That says something. It has longevity. Tommy has longevity. Keemstar shoots to the moon. Sometimes he hits it, sometimes he doesn't, but he always makes sure to pack a parachute, even if he's taking it from somebody else.
That's a good way of putting it.
I think he likes taking it from other people.
Yeah.
It's almost like the vision of Keemstar is a meme coin. Once he starts a project, it shoots, and then when he comes out of it, it just bottoms out. Everyone sells their shares onto the next meme coin.
Yep, and just the pump. Keemstar is the pump and dump of the podcast community.
There you go.
And that's gotta suck,
dude. It's so wild that somebody who wants to be taken as seriously as he does, like as a figure, a pillar of like not morals, but like he wants to be important. And he's pretty important in his area, but like you get into anything else, anything outside of like drama, which is like such a niche part of freaking YouTube, but you get him to anything else. He doesn't debate people. He just argues. They're two completely different things. And when he's losing, he just does what Boogie does.
Yeah. But the difference is, though, Keem can actually say, I'm successful, more successful than you. Let's compare bank accounts. Okay, I'm out.
True, but like at the same time, that doesn't. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I totally do. But it doesn't.
That.
Yeah,
I'm not solidifying it. I'm just saying he has that one up on a lot of these people.
Oh,
and
yeah,
notice
definitely.
He only goes against people he can do that with.
Right.
I will give him credit too. Definitely great at coming up with an entertaining show and an entertaining topic for a show, because anybody else up till this point could have said, I'm going to take Wings and Boogie and DSP and give them their own show so that they can actually monetize the haters. It's like such an obvious thing to do, but he's the one that had the balls to go ahead and say, okay, I'll do it.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. It's an interesting ass thing, you know, for him to be like that, for him to want to actually be that type of a person. I'm not entirely sure why he does, but you know, you can't fault the guy. He definitely does. He brings the numbers. He knows what he's doing.
It is fun. Like I wouldn't mind getting to be on a show with Wings and Boogie and hassling them and making money for hassling them. It's like a win-win all around.
I think that would be kind of entertaining too. Anybody got any final thoughts that they want to bring up or talk about?
I'm curious what happens tomorrow with the new host.
Yes.
I was just looking at the Discord. There's quite a few people that joined today that are going to be going for it. We also had members talking about wanting to come on this show, so I guess we'll be talking about that as well.
Oh, nice.
Nah, man. I mean, I'm happy with this channel. I mean, this is fun to do. I mean, I didn't really look at this as anything crazy, but this has been very fun to do, and I do appreciate this. It's a fun time, but I'm curious where the show goes from here without Tommy. Tommy may come back, like we were saying, but the way the stars are aligning right now, I don't see it. Right. But we'll have to see what happens. That's it.
Yeah, no, yep. I have to agree. Chill.
I'd say that the show might have a future. It kind of depends on who they can bring on and what they decide to do next. But I envision it as probably on life support. I am going to try out for that kind of host position, and if I get it, I'll sign the NDA. I'll kiss Keemstar's ass. I'll stop calling him a lolcow. I'll get out there and defend him. I'll be like Nick Diorio. I'll say one thing whenever I'm with one group, and I'll say something completely different whenever Daddy Keem's around.
There you go.
Zeph.
Oh man, it's as somebody who's been watching Lolcow live since day one, watching it evolve. Since the whole Boogie cancer thing, it's been on fire, and it's just been it's like the Titanic, and it's just slowly split in half and sinking. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think Lolcow's Got Talent is gonna be very entertaining. I don't think I'll be able to try out because I'll be with my children and such. So I don't think that'd be a very appropriate thing to do around my children.
Just do it.
But
Who cares?
but I think Daniel Keem is a very hard gentleman to work with, and I don't think I'd ever want to work with him. But he does tend to make very entertaining content, so I can't knock him for making content that isn't entertaining, because he definitely does.
Yeah, he definitely knows how to make it.
And I hope. Sorry, I don't want this to go too long. I hope Tommy can come back. I hope there is not necessarily a path of redemption, but I hope there is a way to keep things amicable and keep him coming back. I think he was a good voice in the show. However, I do think the Lolcows, like the true Lolcows, like Wings and Boogie, I think those guys tend to be a little bit more of the stars of the shows at time. I like Tommy, but I think seeing a new host would be interesting. I'm not going to doubt Lolcow yet. Depends on who they pick, I guess. Now, if they pick Review Tech USA, I probably will cancel my membership just because that guy's a piece of shit. And I'm like, I bet you he's gonna try out, and I'm just like, please no, please stay away.
I don't know about all that. These are my two predictions. It's gonna be a disaster. Tomorrow's stream is gonna be stupid as hell. They probably already have somebody in mind, just like they did with the editor, and just like they did with the punishment and all that. And I also think that the very last episode of Lolcow Live is probably going to just be Keemstar coming out and being like, yeah, it was all fake. Yeah, I did this and I did that, and just nuke the entirety of it. Because that right there, you would probably hit a maybe like the 500,000 to a million right there. Because Keemstar shoots on, like, explains kayfabe on Lolcow Live. Like, it would do numbers. But
it would.
I think that it's just going to be more. I think it's going to be a lot more of the same. I think we're going to have like another couple of disaster streams, and that's really what this show's identity is going to become. Two idiots kerfuffling about trying to make a successful podcast while Daddy Keemstar takes 25% and comes in and spanks them every once in a while. And I'll be honest, that is a show I can get behind. I can watch that.
Yeah. Yes,
I can
too.
watch that.
Yeah.
Like,
question. I do have a question. I have a question. Mm-hmm. Nobody else is going to get this except for fellow members, and it's only going to be a handful of members. Do you think they're going to have Lexi be the one that recommends the new host?
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I mean, let's be real. She name dropped him, and boom. Hey, Pollard, you ready? Get out of here.
I don't know, man. She hadn't really been involved for her own reasons. I think that because again,
I promise it's a joke.
Let's not out her too much.
Yeah, let's just leave it alone.
All right, guys. Anyway. To the next time. This
is a reason. This is a reason to get her specifically to watch all the way to the end.
Yeah,
I can't.
Regardless, see you guys in the next one later.